Enough is enough! I have had it!
Why so serious?
And we hold the world ransom for... Excuse me while I whip this out.
Show me that.
Live from the Armada FM studios in Atlanta, Georgia, this is the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy. Welcome. It's Monday morning. The Sports Jock is here. You're listening to the Sports Jock Show. It's February the 25th. That's the last Monday in the February of 2013. Wow, this year is getting away from us very, very quick. A lot in sports this week. College basketball season coming to an end, which means the Final Four is right around the corner. NASCAR, hot and heavy yesterday, and even hotter on Saturday with the multi-car crash. We got a lot of rappers doing a lot of things in a lot of different cities. We're going to talk about that. Lil Wayne, Wale, 50 Cent, trying to debunk sports nowadays. And we're going to talk about Johnny Manziel. Too famous for class? Wow, Johnny, too famous for class. That's a lot of fame when you can't go to class. But we here. I got the two producers. They've already messed up. Just, you know, already, right off the top, 888-926-7562. I am pleading with you. Call in. I will send you a FedEx envelope to send it back to me. If that might be the problem. Maybe you ain't got the money to mail it. I will come pick it up. I got my two co-hosts to my left, the funny man himself, Big Kenny.
Buenos dias. We will come pick you up. We won't even let's just skip the whole resume red tape and let's just go pick somebody up and bring them in and see what they do. How much worse could they really be?
It can't be too much worse. The tall lady is here.
Hello. I believe in second and third and fourth and fifth and sixth chances, so I think they deserve another pass, as they always
And
say.
second and third and fourth and fifth and sixth husbands, too.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm just saying.
Protect yourself.
They were all at different. They were all at different times. Nobody crossed. Nobody at the same darn time.
And that's important.
And that's the most important part.
That's important.
That's correct.
Let's stick to what's important.
That's right.
Well, we want to give a real quick shout out to my man Jermaine Dupri. I was able to go to his concert. Let me get a little Jermaine Dupri over there real quick.
Welcome to Atlanta, jacking hammers and bows, back to the Mackin' and jacking the
I'm quite sure no matter where you live in this country, the year this song came out, I don't know when they didn't play this song.
Yeah.
It became an anthem around the country of Welcome to Atlanta. As a lot of you may know, Atlanta has been one of the fastest growing cities over the last 20 years. I can myself even remember getting here in the mid-90s, and it was about 2.5 million people. And now you see people estimate as almost 6 million people in the Atlanta area. That's a lot of growth in 15, 16 years. Jermaine Dupri, who started his record label 20 years ago, had a concert Saturday night. And for you people like, well, why y'all talking about music? Jay-Z was there. So since he owns the Nets, that gave me an in, Big Kenny. All I had to do is find a reason.
Right.
Okay. Which had he showed how big in the industry he really had been and future will be. He was able to bring out artists like Criss Cross, who he first started with, Usher, The Brat, Jay-Z was in the house, Pastor Troy. I thought Pastor Troy was in jail.
No.
No, he's always out.
Ludacris. He had Monica. And even at the end, Mariah Carey brought him out a cake. I don't know, Mariah. We might need to get one more inch in that dress. I was hoping it came down. I'm going to tell you the truth. It was real close to getting a little areola. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Real close to getting a little bit of that. And I was really hoping it came down. I'm going to tell you
Mariah
that.
was putting it out there for the 20th year.
Yeah, she had it out there. I don't know, Nick. That's a lot of woman. Nick Cannon. But you're young.
But she got
You're
twins,
young, though.
so
You're young.
Yeah, but
So
a
you need
couple
your young
kinds of
man for
twins,
all
huh?
that. But yeah, thank you for that dress, Mariah. I like to thank women for their dresses.
So you wanted to see the twins, pretty much.
Well,
Not the babies.
It could have been a single.
Oh,
It didn't have to be a double. It could have been a single. Just something to be able to. But it was a great concert. 3.5 hours, kept me entertained. Shouts out to you, Jermaine, who's a big Atlanta sports fan completely. And another thing I noticed real quickly, people are really getting into the Falcons more. I remember you used to couldn't find somebody in Falcon gear. And now you go out, you actually see people wearing more and more Falcon apparel. So I'm quite sure Mr. Blank is happy about that.
Yeah.
Get another $1 billion to go with the $1 billion he has. Will always help. But sit back, relax. The Sports Jock Show is coming live to you. 888-926-7562. We'll be right back with more of the show after this.
You and me, baby, going one-on-one.
Don't go away. More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy is coming up next.
Hello and welcome to today's lottery drawing. Good luck. And here's today's winning numbers. First one up, it's not yours. Second one, not yours. And another number that's not yours. Okay, this is one number that's yours. It's a 5, but you don't get any money for that. And the final number is not yours.
Yep, so chances are you're not going to hit the lottery anytime soon. Don't get us wrong, the lottery can be fun every now and then. Just please don't rely on it for your future savings. How about this? Brew your own coffee at home instead of buying that latte every day. Brown bag it to work instead of ordering in. Ride your bike instead of buying all that gas. These changes alone can save you thousands a year. Thousands. Small changes today, big bucks tomorrow. Feed that piggy bank. Go to feedthepig.org for more free ideas on how to save. Feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Hey, over here.
What?
Right here, on the side of the house.
Who said that?
Look down. I'm right at your feet.
Wait, the basketball?
Yes, the basketball. Right down here, where the kids left me a long time ago. Man, you know how lonely it is being a ball and not being able to bounce or roll?
Excuse me?
Remember when you got me for the kids? You said, now kids, you have no excuse not to go outside and play.
Uh-huh.
Wow. I'll miss flying through the air and hearing the shouts of joy when I swish through the basket. What do you say? Could you give me a little air and remind the kids of how fun I still am?
Okay. Oh, wow. You are flat.
Easy, I'm ticklish. Let's get bouncing.
As Native American parents and caregivers, our encouragement to healthy lifestyles for our kids is helping them get outside and play. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov/Indian Country. Brought to you by USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
The Sports Jock Show is giving you a chance to win, and win big.
We're giving away an Apple iPad.
Plus an invite for you and 3 of your friends to come down to the studio and enjoy a live show. And all you've got to do is wake up with a Sports Jock.
Good morning. It's Monday. We have a great show for you today.
Visit thesportsjock.com and click on the Remind Me app. Each Monday, the Sports Jock will call you to remind you to listen to the show.
Every time you pick up the phone,
your number is entered into a drawing to win the free iPad. One lucky winner will win the iPad. plus an invite for you and 3 of your friends to come and sit in on a live show. Because it's a well-known fact, you haven't heard the Sports Jock Show until you've seen it live. We'll announce the winner March 4th, so log on, sign up with the Sports Jock Wake-Up Call, download the app, and win an iPad. Go to thesportsjock.com and click on Remind Me. Good luck from the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy.
The Sports. And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
So I ball so hard, motherfuckers wanna find me. But first, gotta find me. What's 50 grand to a motherfucker like me? Can you please remind me?
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock Wayne Gandy. NASCAR hot and heavy this past weekend. Nothing bigger than the wreck on Saturday in the Nationwide Series. The drive for Cop D300. Major accident in which 28 to 30 people was injured. Kyle Lawson's 32 car on the last lap hit the wall and half the car went over the fence. Fortunate enough that Kyle was not hurt. We had a man on the site all weekend, free of charge, from the Sports Jock. No, I'm lying about that part. I didn't pay for nothing. But we got our man, Doug Fireball Turnbull. You know, when we want to talk NASCAR, we always reach out to Doug. Fireball, are you there?
Also hard. What's up?
You the one balling so hard down at the track with 50 Cent, but we'll talk about that a little later. Let's start with the, first of all, Fireball, we're trying to find a name for your NASCAR segment. We have in the garage. What else do we have over here?
On the throttle.
On the throttle.
Shake and bake.
Shake and bake. I think the bad producer said sitting on the pole, but hey, I don't know what that actually means.
I think that's his segment.
I'm not calling in from Midtown Atlanta.
But Fireball,
I don't know. We'll have to shake and bake's pretty good, but we'll have to think about it. Maybe for next week we'll have something good.
Okay, we'll try to dig up something. Well, let's just start. Great race. I must tell you, Fireball, I watched at least about 70% of the race. First time I've ever watched that much auto racing. I think being involved with you and knowing some things and terminology, it has brought it to life more for me to be able to watch it. But let's start with the wreck on Saturday. 28 fans, they say injured, about half was able to be treated at the racetrack. Another half went to the hospital. Just break down the particulars of how this happened and where does it stand at this moment.
Okay, well, I'll start out with the fans first because that information is still very, very muddled, and the way hospital officials, track, and NASCAR officials release that information is sort of cryptic, and I think cryptic for a reason because they very well, you know, it's not over with is how I feel like the situation is right now. There's still, last check, a few fans, 7 of them hospitalized. All of them have been, quote, according to Halifax Health Medical Center down there, quote, stabilized. And they didn't announce the condition. They said all of the condition and everything is private, and talking to family, all that, they want to keep their privacy. So all I got to say before I get to the crash is please pray for the fans involved. I think a lot of people are under the impression that it's kind of over with and most people are okay. And out of the 28 to 33, the Associated Press had it reported as many as 33 hurt in it. But between 28 and 33 people hurt, it's a miracle that there have been no confirmed fatalities or anything like that. Here's what happened. Is at the end of the Nationwide Series race, Saturday afternoon, that the Nationwide race is a lot more lively than the Cup race because the cars race differently and just in the restrictor plate racing, and they're really close together. And toward the end of the race, it's just a free for all. And Regan Smith, the race leader, tried to block Brad Keselowski, who was trying to pass him, and that triggered a tremendous crash that wrecked a ton of cars. And it would have been tremendous without what happened with the fence. But rookie Kyle Larson, who is lauded as the next Jeff Gordon or Tony Stewart, is a tremendous talent who I've seen in person win at Gresham Motorsports Park in Georgia. Kyle Larson's car gets airborne and nails the fence head-on just before the start-finish line. His engine gets lodged in the fence, sets on fire. Pieces of the car shower fans in the stands, and the tire goes over the fence and into the stands. A piece of his front suspension goes through the fence. And people, there's no official write-up of what hit who and how badly who was hurt. So that's really cryptic. But the fan video that made its way and went viral after it, that NASCAR ended up blocking on YouTube due to quote respect to the privacy of the families and those injured involved. A tire landed right next to the guy, and if that tire landed on a person, that's a serious situation. So. NASCAR, of course, and Daytona International Speedway, they worked through the night to repair the fence, and they offered fans that had seats in that area the day of the Daytona 500 the chance to move. I talked to Joey Chitwood III this morning at the Champions Breakfast for the Daytona 500 winner, Jimmy Johnson, and he says that he sat in the section himself for part of the race Sunday afternoon, and he was not aware of any fans choosing or opting out to move their seats, and that area looked full to me when I looked at it. So still pray for it, but fortunately Sunday's race went without a hitch, and there was no debris flying or in the three major crashes that happened in that race too.
When I saw the video, and if you're watching us on Ustream, first of all, we're talking to Doug Fireball Turnbull about the Daytona 500 this past weekend.
Yeah, I can't Skype you while I'm driving.
But if you're watching us on Ustream, we are showing the video. Has the video been rebooted? I know that you said NASCAR blocked it for a minute. Have they released it to be shown again?
I haven't looked it up on YouTube since then, but since ESPN and local affiliates and everybody, many people took that video stream, before it got blocked. They had it recorded so they could keep repurposing it and using it. So I'm not sure which source you're using to look at it, but NASCAR definitely blocked it because they have the power to due to copyright infringement, and they chose to do so with that to censor the videos. And it very well could be because the situation is worse than is truly being said. Not that anybody's lying. I don't know if that's true, but some fans were titling the video on YouTube as "one fan killed" and this and that, and I don't think that NASCAR wanted that information spreading around because it hadn't been confirmed, and people could say someone's died when they haven't. So I think that was the reason for it, right or wrong. And again, I haven't tried to look it up on YouTube since then, but I have seen it plenty of times.
Yeah, when I watched it, it reminded me of one of those Final Destination movies. They had a scene where the car went off the track and debris went in and actually killed a couple people, which is a scary moment. And I've had the pleasure last year to go to a racetrack. And for any of you out there like, man, I would have got out the way. No, you wouldn't have. You would have got hit. Wherever the stuff would have went, you would have got hit.
Doug,
I was watching the race. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
No, this is Big Kenny, and I was going to say, first of all, what kind of race correspondent are you can't drive and Skype at the same time? Really, I mean, your skills are seeming to be in question here, Fireball. So we got to get your Skype driving thing together first, and then second of all, we're always talking about how part of the attraction to NASCAR is the fans come and they want to see the big crash, they want to see the big wreck. A lot of that is the attraction when it stays on the track. Once it gets up into the audience and starts affecting the fans, it's a lot less attractive for the people that come to see the sport. What do you see as the long-term effect of this accident from this past weekend?
I don't see, as far as fan involvement, not much of I don't see a long-term effect at all. Every fan I talked to, including two different fans that were coming to their first ever NASCAR race, said that they would go back, that they're not scared at all, that they were sitting around 20 rows from the fence. I mean, one of the people that I knew well down there, that I actually stayed with down there, one of the people I stayed with in an RV, they said, this is my first weekend ever going to NASCAR. They were sitting 20 rows back at turn 4 and saw the crash happen in front of them, and then progressed to where fans run the front straightaway and the tri-oval actually got affected with the debris. he's going back. Everybody sat there on Sunday. People have been hurt with debris before, not just in the movies. In 2009 at Talladega, Carl Edwards' car gets airborne, flips, goes into the fence. A few fans injured there. Bobby Allison at Talladega in 1988, his car hits the fence. There have been several instances where multiple fans have been killed by tires flying off of Indy race cars, where the tires, it's open wheel so they can come off easier, and they were at NASCAR-type tracks where this happened, and fans getting killed because of tires flying into the stands. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, it's kind of like a plane crash. They don't happen often, but when it does, and when it does happen, it can be deadly. So I see NASCAR and track officials doing everything they can to try to deter it or make it safer, but you can't, I don't think, for now anyway, foolproof prevent it, and I don't think fans are going to stop coming because of it.
Real quick before we go to break, Fireball, and hopefully you can hold the line. I know you're driving. But real quick before we go to break,
no, I'll stay along the
the big news of the week going into the race was the cars, the new cars. Real quick, how do you rate the cars? How did they hold up? How did, you know, when you're out there, which car, Toyota, Chevy, Ford, you think did the best?
Aerodynamically, they are a little bit different each make, but I don't think that those differences really changed or made one better than the other. As far as rating the new car, how it raced in general, fans in general did not like how cars raced on a restrictor plate racetrack. Okay, they want to see people passing more, but this type of track is an aberration. It only happens 4 times on the Cup schedule. Okay, it only happens 4 times on the Cup schedule, and so when we get to a more real, down-to-earth track where the racing spreads out more, like Phoenix next week or Las Vegas the week after, things will change, and we'll really have these cars race.
Okay, Fireball, hold the line. We're gonna go to break. Come back. I don't want to get started with you and only have 30 seconds. I need a good minute with you, but we're going to go to break. We'll be back. Doug Fireball Turnbull. We're going to still try to come up with a name for Fireball segment. It will not be sitting on the pole. It might be Ball So Hard, Doug or something, but it won't be sitting on the pole. 888-926-7562, thesportsjock.com. We'll be back right after this with more of the Sports Jock Show.
The Sports Jock Show is giving you a chance to win, and win big.
We're giving away an Apple iPad.
Plus an invite for you and 3 of your friends to come down to the studio and enjoy a live show. And all you've got to do is wake up with a Sports Jock.
Good morning. It's Monday. We have a great show for you today.
Visit thesportsjock.com and click on the Remind Me app. Each Monday, the Sports Jock will call you to remind you to listen to the show.
Every time you pick up the phone,
your number is entered into a drawing to win the free iPad. One lucky winner will win the iPad, plus an invite for you and 3 of your friends to come and sit in on a live show. Because it's a well-known fact, you haven't heard the Sports Jock Show until you've seen it live. We'll announce the winner March 4th, so log on, sign up with the Sports Jock wake-up call, download the app, and win an iPad. Go to thesportsjock.com and click on Remind Me. Good luck from the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
In my world, I'm very comfortable, because I kind of know my world. But raising the flag, I might be a little nervous.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock Wayne Gandy. Daytona 500, the biggest race in NASCAR, was yesterday. We're on the line with Doug Fireball Turnbull. He was at the race. Doug, skipping from Saturday to Sunday. As I told you, I was able to catch a lot of this race. And maybe you can explain to me, why does NASCAR put on a race where, as you were saying in the last segment, with the restrictor plate? Because as I watched this race, it was just a whole bunch of drafting.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is 2 years ago, and even last year, well, not so much last year, but definitely 2 years ago, they had plates. 20 years ago, they had restrictor plates. The nature of plate racing in and of itself has changed. The reason they have plates in the first place is because cars were getting close to 210. Bill Elliott, I think, fastest lap, 212 miles per hour set at Talladega, and they were getting airborne too quickly, and Bobby Allison's car in 1988 hit the fence at Talladega, like I mentioned before. So then they had to slow the cars down so when they got airborne, they wouldn't immediately fly so high. But it still can happen. And what happens with the plates is now they're bunched up so close, the likelihood of wrecking and taking out a bunch of cars at the same time, the margin for error is very high, and the margin for error is very low. So that they have to have the restrictor plates there. A lot of people are very divided on it, but in general, race fans love restrictor plate racing because there's a lot of lead changes usually, there's a lot of passing usually, and these new cars were so unpredictable with the plates on them that drivers, I think, just wanted to play conservatively till the end, and that's why you saw it single file.
Well, Jimmy Johnson in his 48 car won the Daytona 500. He's the 10th driver to become a multi-winner. He won back in 2006, I believe, if that is correct.
Yes.
The Daytona 500. Watching the race, especially at the end, two things stuck out to me. Danica Patrick going into the last lap, she was in third. When everybody made her move, she didn't make a move. What? Explain that to me.
Look, it wouldn't matter if it was Danica Patrick or it could have been any other rookie. All right, if you're a rookie and there's a brand new race car that even the veterans are trying to figure out how to drive, that's why I didn't count on her to win. Because in general, because when it's time to make the move to win, it's tough to pull it off, and you have to have somebody work with you. And Dale Earnhardt Jr., who's been her team owner up until this season in the Nationwide Series, and who is a quasi-teammate to her now, Dale Jr. decided to make the move to win, and she was in front of him. Mark Martin was pushing Jr. behind him, and so they went, and she didn't have anybody to go with. And Danica Patrick, after the race, that she had a steady day, not a spectacular day. She said it was pretty uneventful, actually, despite becoming the first woman ever to lead laps, despite becoming the first woman ever to win a pole, despite being the highest finishing woman ever in a Cup Series race. She said the day was uneventful because she had thought about all day how she could make the move to win, and she couldn't do it. So that's she was disappointed, but everybody, I think, should be excited about the first she was able to accomplish. But next week, we're back to earth, regular racetrack, and I don't necessarily expect the same results. I think that she'll have a more mediocre finish.
Danica Patrick ending up 8th in yesterday's race. Dale Earnhardt, who was in about 5th place when he made his move, ended up 2nd, and this is like his second place finish for like 3 of the last 4 races. How disappointing is that for him?
Anytime you don't win, it's disappointing. As car owner Rick Hendrick, who's Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car owner, told the media this morning at the Champions Breakfast, you put so many man hours into coming down to Daytona. You spend 2 weeks down there. If you wreck out of the race early, it's disappointing. But I think if you have that sweet taste of victory right there in your mouth and you don't quite get it, that's the agony of defeat as well. And Dale Earnhardt Jr., though, I think is happy to get good finishes, but it's all about winning for these drivers. And usually people don't remember who finishes second in the Daytona 500. And I think they will this year because he was, right behind Jimmy Johnson. But Junior's ready to win another plate race. I don't think he's won a points-paying restrictor plate race. I think it's been since 2005. So it's been a long time for him, and I know he wants to do that.
Well, one last question here, Fireball. Watching the race, Brad Keselowski, he raced basically the last third of the race taped up. How did that affect his race car? I mean, you could actually see they kind of physically had taped his bumper back to the car.
Well, these race cars, unlike the race cars that NASCAR paraded out through the 1990s and through the early and mid-2000s, the car of tomorrow, which is the Generation 5 race car now it's called, and the Generation 6 race car now, are not as aerodynamically sensitive as those. So that's one reason. But also, restrictor plate racing really has to do with how you make your moves in the draft. And although you don't want pieces of your body flying off or acting as parachutes and slowing you down, if they're able to tape the car up enough to where it's not all, here's a term for you, cattywampus, it's not all messed up, and it can be slicked down, you can still compete because everybody is going just about the same speed. And Keselowski was able to do that. He actually spun 2 different times in the race, or got damaged 2 different times in the race, hit a piece of debris a 3rd time, but still was able to time his move perfectly like championship drivers, and he is one now, can do. And he was able to get right there and actually battled side by side with sort of what people are calling his foe right now, Jimmy Johnson, for the lead of the race, and he almost won it and finished 4th.
Well, thank you, Fireball, for calling in. Drive safely getting back to Atlanta. And you say Vegas is next week or Phoenix?
It's going to be Phoenix next week and then Vegas after that.
Okay, we'll talk to you about those races next week. Doug Fireball Turnbull for our NASCAR report. We'll be right back with more of the Sports Jock Show, 888-926-7562.
The Sports Jock Show is giving you a chance to win, and win big.
We're giving away an Apple iPad.
Plus an invite for you and 3 of your friends to come down to the studio and enjoy a live show. And all you've got to do is wake up with a Sports Jock.
Good morning. It's Monday. We have a great show for you today.
Visit thesportsjock.com and click on the Remind Me app. Each Monday, the Sports Jock will call you to remind you to listen to the show.
Every time you pick up the phone,
your number is entered into a drawing to win the free iPad. One lucky winner will win the iPad. Plus an invite for you and 3 of your friends to come and sit in on a live show. Because it's a well-known fact, you haven't heard the Sports Jock Show until you've seen it live. We'll announce the winner March 4th, so log on, sign up with the Sports Jock wake-up call, download the app, and win an iPad. Go to thesportsjock.com and click on Remind Me. Good luck from the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy.
Sassy! Sassy!
This week's episode, Rattlesnake at the Pond.
Oh, Johnny, skipping rocks at the pond sure is fun. Hey, look, a moving stick. That ain't a stick. That's a rattlesnake. Sassy, we're in danger. Good idea, Sassy. Go get Mr. Gunderson. You will in a second, but first you'd like to tell us something we may not know about animal shelters in the United States? It's getting close, Sassy! Approximately 8 million pets enter shelters each year? The majority of which are in shelters because of owner-related issues that the animals have no control over? Sassy the rattlesnake! Save us, Sassy! What, Sassy? You wish you were videotaping this? Sassy!
Sassy is brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org. Remember, adopt.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
It'll get better. It'll get better. I think what's happening with NASCAR right now is that generation of NASCAR fans that are older are leaving the sport, but there's no bottom line to fill those seats from that generation that's leaving. So where do you get it from? You get it from your Hispanics and your African Americans. So we got to go out and market to them. We'll find out in the next few weeks or so where that diversity program is going for African American drivers. This sport will have their Tiger Woods moment. It will. I don't know when. It could be a year from now. It could be 10 years from now. But it's going to have that moment, and it's going to have to happen soon for this sport to become that sport that it was 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock Wayne Gandy. We'd like to thank Doug Fireball Turnbull for calling in, helping us out with the NASCAR report. As Doug said when we were interviewing him, send your prayers out to some of the fans. Obviously, some of the injuries are more severe than people are letting on. And if you saw the accident, when I say like half the car went over the fence, And if you know anything about NASCAR, especially now, really these cars are just go-karts with a plastic shell just kind of taped to it, almost glued to it. When you watch it, even when they show you inside the car, there's nothing in there. It's like the body of a go-kart with a supercharged engine, and then they're putting the lightest material they can around the shell, and that's why the cars break up as they do, and half of this car went over the fence. And if you caught it, the video, you do see the tire go over the fence. And you know, you got to imagine these people almost 200 miles per hour. Things are going to fly a lot of places. That was a clip of Terrence Mathis. He was a wide receiver for the Falcons and the Steelers, and he is the offensive coordinator down at Savannah State. I think Terrence is still part owner of one of the race cars in NASCAR, so that's his outlook on diversifying NASCAR, because really NASCAR for all these years has kind of belonged to one segment of society. Big Kenny, tall lady, that it's their baby, is what they love, is what they support. And in this country, last I checked, NASCAR is like the third sport in this, watch sport in this country after football and baseball. The wreck was tragic. Glad no one died. NASCAR, in their diversification of their sport, had Ray Lewis. He actually started the race. They had invited 50 Cent and T.I. down, trying to get the hip-hop community into it. The Zac Brown Band, they performed down there. They had actor James Franco, Drew Carey, Wes Walker of the Patriots. He was at the track. So they seem to be trying to reach out and bring another segment of society into this world, which will help it grow. Just like people ask me, when did football really take off? The salaries took off when the NFL kind of welcomed the female viewer into watching football. Big Kenny, there was an interesting thing, tall lady, with 50 Cent. There is a video of him being asked by Aaron Andrews. I think people are just making a lot of this. 50 was down on the track, and Aaron Andrews walked by and basically saying, "Hello, 50, what are you doing here?" I guess she doesn't really know 50 Cent, because if anything we know about him, he does try to diversify himself and to get into things to make himself. He's learned from other people before him. You just can't make money being a rapper. You got to go out into other ventures. But it is a funny video. You can see it on our Ustream as he follows her. He tried to get a little kiss at the beginning. But now the thing when you see this, especially if you can hear the audio, she said, "What are you doing here? Like, I know you in another way." You know how, like, what are you, surprising.
What are you doing here? Are you stalking me?
What are you doing here? Like,
Like with some familiarity.
Yeah.
Like she knows him more than just from the interview that's about to take place.
Correct.
Look, everybody's had videos.
Right. So it does sound like she knows him from another area, and Aaron gets around, and 50 Cent loves sports, and he's a boxing promoter now. But how do you think they can get, Big Kenny, a different group segment of society in? Is this the way, by inviting, kind of like basketball did? Basketball kind of invited the Jay-Z's and the Ushers, and I even hear the Hawks are trying to get 2 Chainz to be part owner or something.
I think that for organizations and for leagues like the NBA and organizations like the Hawks and the Nets, that may work, because a large deal of their demographic is already from that background. Mm-hmm. They already follow these stars, these pop culture icons, as they call them. But with the NASCAR demographic, are those people going to be willing to embrace those celebrities? Are they going to be willing to embrace that faction of society? Because like you said, for so long, NASCAR was basically segregated to what we considered the Deep South, good old boy demographic.
Correct.
And now that they're opening it up, personally, to see a 50 Cent grab Aaron and give her a kiss like that would offend the majority of the NASCAR fans that are old school NASCAR fans.
The ones that Terrence Mathis referred
the ones
to
that are leaving the sport right now.
Or passing away. Yes.
And it's hard to save someone that doesn't want to be saved. If you don't want integration into your sport, and I almost liken it to the Republican Party. They're talking now about having to diversify because the old way isn't working anymore. So if the fans want the sport saved, then they'll have to open it up. But I think there'll be a lot of resistance.
I think that they rolled the dice. Well, not rolled the dice, but they promoted Danica Patrick, and I think that is kind of winning.
Right.
Which brings the woman in, and they're trying.
Now 50 Cent kissing white women, that ought to bring the brothers in. you know the bad producer on board now. From
he loves that. He might go to Vegas tomorrow. We'll be back with more of the Sports Jock Show right after this.
I'm having the epiphany, you to me, worse than the scum in the slum I'm from. I'm a Southside, yeah, I'm about mine. You be that next car and it's come out line. You ain't made of what I made of. You a bum with a bumper. The shoes come from bakers. You counterfeit, fraudulent fakers.
More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy coming up next.
Hey, over here.
What?
Right here in the back.
Where?
Over by the fence.
You? The bike?
Yeah, the bike. Right in the grass where the kids left me a while ago. You know how lonely it is being left day after day, not being able to cruise the reservation?
Pardon me?
Remember when you got me for the kids? You told them, no, you kids go have fun, enjoy the outdoors, and be careful.
Yeah?
I really miss it, especially when they put that playing card in my spokes, and I made a really cool sound the faster we went. Well, could you get my tires a little air, dust off my seat, and remind the kids how fun I still am?
Okay. Oh, you are dusty.
Yeah, and I may need a couple of bolts tightened too. Now let's go.
As Native American parents and caregivers, our encouragement to healthy lifestyles for our kids is helping them get outside and play. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov/Indian Country. Brought to you by USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council.
The Sports Jock Show is giving you a chance to win, and win big.
We're giving away an Apple iPad.
Plus an invite for you and 3 of your friends to come down to the studio and enjoy a live show. And all you've got to do is wake up with a Sports Jock.
Good morning. It's Monday. We have a great show for you today.
Visit thesportsjock.com and click on the Remind Me app. Each Monday, the Sports Jock will call you to remind you to listen to the show.
Every time you pick up the phone,
your number is entered into a drawing to win the free iPad. One lucky winner will win the iPad. Plus an invite for you and 3 of your friends to come and sit in on a live show. Because it's a well-known fact, you haven't heard the Sports Jock Show until you've seen it live. We'll announce the winner March 4th, so log on, sign up with the Sports Jock wake-up call, download the app, and win an iPad. Go to thesportsjock.com and click on Remind Me. Good luck from the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
You know, well, I'ma take a try. A cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock Wayne Gandy. We were talking about the NASCAR Daytona 500 this weekend. I love country music. I love country music. I can say that. Because, you know, in country music, you don't have to try to decipher nothing.
No.
It's all
just some jeans that fit right.
Yeah,
I got a beer.
Laid out.
Yeah, it's laid out for you.
Yeah.
You know, you listen to other music and they talking about something.
All that word play.
Yeah, I got some Natalie Cole. It's like, what is that? It's like you got to figure out what they're talking about.
Right.
Country give it right to you. You don't have anything to decipher. As we went to break, we did have a call on the line. Mike, are you there?
Yes. Good morning, Sports Jock Show. How are you guys doing?
Good morning.
All right,
Good morning.
Yes, I just had a comment on how you guys are discussing diversifying NASCAR and how Matthews called in about the Tiger Woods. Not sure if you guys are aware, there's a young black guy out there by the name of Darrell Wallace Jr. He's 19 years old. He's Joe Gibbs Racing Team, but he's driving in the Truck Series right now. So he made history actually Friday night driving in the Truck Series, like I stated, and he's the 4th black driver, and he's the one who has a real team behind him in Joe Gibbs, and you know he's looking to carry the mantle to be the Tiger Woods of NASCAR and make it to the actual NASCAR Sprint Series. So not sure if you got another thing that NASCAR is doing to try to diversify their sport.
I did see an article on that young man, and I'm quite sure, just like all sports have evolved over the years, NASCAR is going to do everything they can to help their sports, grow. I think that with other sports growing, you can easily get left behind if you don't find other wheelhouses to make money. And just like Danica Patrick, she isn't the first female to ever race, but it seems like she's the first female that NASCAR is making sure you know where she is. That's why we had the conspiracy theory of her winning the pole. It seemed to bring a little notoriety, and we don't know how good this Wallace kid is going to do, but I'm quite sure if he is decent enough, NASCAR is going to put things behind him to at least sell him until he makes it a name for himself, and hopefully he will. I can tell you this, if you watch NASCAR live, you will appreciate it better than watching it on television. It does have a more exciting feel to it if you actually go to the event. Can you had a?
I wanted to ask you, and basically just ask the question in general. When you have NASCAR backing a Danica Patrick as staunchly as they do and promoting her as much and marketing her as much as they do, but she's not producing the results as far as wins, as far as top 10 finishes that you think someone that's getting that much press should be getting, do you think that it damages the sport, or do you think that it damages that group's position in the sport, women, minorities? If, say, NASCAR gets behind this gentleman that Mike was just talking about, and they do a lot of promoting him, and he doesn't win, he's not a top 10 finisher, then it sort of becomes an affirmative action for NASCAR. And then it becomes, look, they're just promoting this guy because he's black. He's really not capable of holding his own in NASCAR. They're just giving him a ride because they need that diversity.
Well, I think that as long as he does decent enough, kind of like Danica, she's never really won big. I think it starts becoming, well, she's doing better than any woman before her.
Right.
So it started off, well, I'm going to compete with the boys. Now I'm going to set a bar for all the women before me. I don't think that this young man necessarily has to go out and win Daytona, win Talladega. I think he just has to have the flair and the consistency for NASCAR.
But what I'm asking you, do you think that waters down NASCAR? Because at one point, all you had to be was fast.
Right.
If you wanted to be a NASCAR champion, if you wanted the promotion from NASCAR, if you wanted them behind you, be fast and win races. Now it's be the best female racer. Now it's be the best minority racer. Why not just be the best racer?
I think anytime you're trying to bring some new people in, it's step by step. I think that you're hoping and banking that this person can produce, because if the more he produces or she produces, the more fans I can gain. But I do get what you're saying. Does it start being watered down, like, oh, you're trying to make us come in instead of him drawing us, you're trying to draw us. And I think it's going to have to work hand in hand. As you say, he's starting, Mike said he's starting in the Truck Series. So I guess we have to wait and see. 19, so he definitely has years to grow in the sport. One thing I did notice, though, that something might have went unnoticed about the people that they invited to NASCAR. T.I. buying guns to murder. 50 Cent, somebody tried to murder. Ray Lewis,
Murder
suspicion of murder.
Right.
And James Franco played a murderer. He tried to murder Spider-Man.
About that life.
In the movie. A lot of murder.
Lot of murder.
In these people.
And then somebody possibly killed on Saturday. So there's a theme. There's a theme.
We'll be back with more of the Sports Jock Show. Talk about the Oscars right after this.
Don't go away. More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy is coming up next.
Hello, and welcome to today's lottery drawing. Good luck. And here's today's winning numbers. First one up, it's not yours. Second one, not yours. And another number that's not yours. Okay, this is one number that's yours. It's a 5, but you don't get any money for that. And the final number is not yours.
Yep, so chances are you're not going to hit the lottery anytime soon. Don't get us wrong, the lottery can be fun every now and then. Just please don't rely on it for your future savings. How about this? Brew your own coffee at home instead of buying that latte every day. Brown bag it to work instead of ordering in. Ride your bike instead of buying all that gas. These changes alone can save you thousands a year. Thousands. Small changes today, big bucks tomorrow. Feed that piggy bank. Go to feedthepig.org for more free ideas on how to save. Feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Hey, over here.
What?
Right here, on the side of the house.
Who said that?
Look down. I'm right at your feet.
Wait, the basketball?
Yes, the basketball. Right down here, where the kids left me a long time ago. Man, you know how lonely it is being a ball and not being able to bounce or roll?
Excuse me?
Remember when you got me for the kids? You said, now kids, you have no excuse not to go outside and play.
Uh-huh.
Wow. I'll miss flying through the air and hearing the shouts of joy when I swish through the basket. What do you say? Could you give me a little air and remind the kids of how fun I still am?
Okay. Oh, wow. You are flat.
Easy, I'm ticklish. Let's get bouncing.
As Native American parents and caregivers, our encouragement to healthy lifestyles for our kids is helping them get outside and play. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov/Indian Country. Brought to you by USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy. Play a little more of that right there. Let me get a little more of that right there.
Sometimes you're crazy, and you wonder why. I'm such a baby, cause the dolphins make me cry. Well, there's nothing I can do. I've been loving you. You look at me.
Didn't they break up?
But he's doing country music now.
And the Blowfish. They broke up, though, right?
Now he's just Darius Rucker.
Yeah, he's just
he's just Darius Rucker now.
Of country music fame. He's all at the Country Music Awards now, winning awards. Yeah, he's...
As we went to break, we did have two things I will allow now. First, ladies first. The tall lady came up with some information.
Yes, that there's a female African-American driver that has been licensed for NASCAR. Her name is Tia Norfleet, and she is in the drag racing and stock racing divisions of NASCAR. And her father is Bobby Norfleet, who's also a NASCAR driver.
Okay, and the bad producer?
Yes, back to what Kenny was saying. He has to win.
Excuse me. That's Big Kenny.
Excuse me, Big Kenny. As Big Kenny was saying, he has to win, Big Kenny, because he can't be like Dale Jr. not win, because Dale Jr. has a fan base. Danica they're gonna portray her. That fan base with NASCAR, as a African American or as a black man, as I like to say, he has to win, because if not, they're not gonna look at him. He just can't just do good unless he becomes a villain like a Kurt Busch or Kyle Busch, running people off the road and doing things like that. Then they will love him if he turns into a villain. but not winning and just being flashy and having swag, that's not going to work for NASCAR.
Oh, that's why they bringing murderers around.
Oh, okay. Well, since something just came up, this is what we're going to do.
Okay.
The five of us that are on the mics right now, until we're not on the mics anymore. Are you listening, good producer? It's not African American. It's black. That's what we use on the Sports Jock Show. Y'all cut that stuff out. I've never been to Africa. Closest I've been to Africa is Haines City, Florida.
Can we call them colored people?
Colored is fine.
Can I call them colored people?
It's black.
Because across the pond, they still say colored, and we are men of color.
Okay, now.
He just went running on that microphone.
Leave the mic alone. Leave the mic alone.
He spoke 2 words and now he co-host.
Well, Oscar was given last night. Well, first of all, we talk about the Oscars. Oscar Pistorius' brother, Carl, he is being charged with a murder. He hit someone on a motorcycle, a woman, female, in 2009. He was actually supposed to be in the courtroom last week for his trial, but they suspended it so he could hang out. I don't know I don't know how you can kill somebody. They suspend your trial so you can go to your brother's murder trial. But that's South Africa for you.
Like it's a competitive sport. Look, my brother gonna be playing on Saturday. Can I go and watch him play?
As of Friday. Which is I don't know, maybe is the dollar in South Africa the same as the dollar here?
No.
Or is it's different? What is the rate?
It's let me see if I can.
Yeah, y'all find out the rate because they let Oscar Pistorius out on bail for $113,000, and I'm thinking that's all it is for murder. I mean, really?
And you only really got to pay 10% of that to bail out. So about 11 G's, you can
get out of jail.
Not saying that I want to kill somebody. I'm just saying if I'm going to kill somebody, I think I'd have to go to South Africa and do it where my bail dollars would go farther.
His next day in court will be in June. Will be the next time he's in court, June 4th. He, as you know from last week, he murdered his girlfriend, or allegedly, as Big Kenny depicted last week. Kind of slid down the hallway and murdered Reva Steenkamp.
What was he walking on, Kenny?
His blades.
They did say he cannot go back to the house. Had to, the regular stuff. Had to give up his passport, so he's going to live with his uncle. But it's interesting that both of the brothers, I think Carl is like 3 years older than Oscar. But they both are under some kind of suspicion of murder.
The main investigator who had basically been building the case against Pistorius is also under the suspicion of murder. Like he shot up a van with 7 people in it. And so that's basically how Oscar got bail is the
So you saying there's a lot of people
around
in South Africa that's about that life.
That's about that life, right.
So
it's not just NASCAR. It's not just NASCAR inviting that element. It's
about that life.
South Africa in general.
Well, last night the 85th Academy Awards were handed out, and the Sports Jock is a huge movie watcher. Huge, like more than huge. I don't even have enough room in my video. I got like 400 disc player huge. Like I can't even get enough video room for them. But last night, Best Picture, Argo. Best Director, Ang Lee for Life with Pi, which I wanted to murder myself. I wanted that tiger to jump out the screen and just chew me up for even watching this movie. I didn't get Life with Pi. Maybe I might have to watch it again. Best Supporting Actor, Christoph Waltz for Django Unchained. Best Supporting Actress, Anne Hathaway for Les Miserables. How they kept saying everybody kept saying it different. Les Miserables and
Les Miserables, Les Miserables.
And I'm thinking it says miserables to me.
Just Les Mis.
It was
Les Mis to make everybody happy.
Los Miserables. Los Miserables one.
Best Actress, Jennifer Lawrence for Silver Linings Playbook. If you haven't seen that movie, it is a great movie that went under the radar. And Best Actor, Daniel Day-Lewis for Lincoln. I thought Lincoln should have been the Picture of the Year. Argo, it was a little questionable. But Daniel Day-Lewis did a great job as Lincoln, his third Oscar in a leading role. So great Oscar night. And I'd like to thank that Real Housewife lady, Brandy Glanville. That dress you had on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that dress. We'll be back with more of the Sports Jock Show right after this.
More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy coming up next.